Welcome back. Welcome back to another.
I was just going to say, we just have to talk a little bit and then the volume will come up. So go ahead.
Welcome back to another episode of Repressed Humor Issues.
Yeah, we're just two guys with two microphones with one excuse to ignore our spouses.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Dan.
We're glad you're here.
Well, kind of glad.
I'm glad.
Yeah, so we got to get right into this. So first of all, you have two things that you made me have to bring up today, okay?
Okay.
In the last half an hour, probably about an hour now, you sent me a text.
Okay,
Do you remember what that text was?
The poop one. The poop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I have full autonomy to say poop. If you can say full dump, full dumper, or whatever the shit you've said.
Yeah, but I wasn't telling you in the moment that it was happening.
I'm trying to think if there's been a moment where you have.
No. I haven't even done that to my wife. No,
that's not true. That's not true. When we were in North Carolina, you totally did. That's why we delayed on the to record, because you needed to do a full dumper. I might have it in text.
That was before I actually did it. I had told you what I was going to do. You were telling me as you were taking the shit.
Oh, no. Mine was before.
Realize,
mine was also before.
Your new nickname for this show is Pillsbury Turd Boy, because every time you push in your stomach, I'm pretty sure turd pops out.
God, wouldn't that be a nice parlor trick?
Yes, I could just imagine playing with the kid saying, "Hey, put your finger in my belly."
And it's legit.
Okay. But here's the other thing that you said. You were drinking that lychee drink, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you said it tasted like cough syrup.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Why did you drink it?"
Because it's in the fridge.
And I said, "That's how you ended up gay."
Yeah, makes no sense.
It does, because you ended up gay because it was just there, so you tried it. That's really what happened.
What? But... Well, I mean, by that token, the JCPenney catalog was there when I was a kid, and I definitely flipped through that. So yeah, I tried that too.
Okay.
But underwear models.
Oh, okay. You had to give that context, because I'm thinking, what did the JCPenney catalog do to you?
I'll be honest, my brain kind of hiccuped because I was second guessing if it was Montgomery Ward, Sears, or JCPenney.
Isn't it the Sears catalog that's supposed to have that stuff in it? That was the one that had the bra section and all that sort of stuff back in the 80s.
I think JCPenney did too, but I don't know.
We didn't have JCPenney in Canada, so I never had to deal with that.
But you had Sears?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought that was a U.S. brand.
Okay. I didn't realize that Sears couldn't be universal, that you Americans wanted to claim ownership over the entire Sears brand.
It can't. It went out of business.
Oh, but Sears home stores are still open.
Are they?
Yeah. I think they have to get other products now. They can't get anything from Sears because Eddie Lampert did his deal on the entire rest of the Sears brand. But we're digressing from the fact that in the last hour, you forced me to come up with Pillsbury Turd Boy and found out you were gay because you drank a lychee drink out of the refrigerator. That's my entire point.
If it's any consolation, it gets better as you drink it, and I don't know why.
Is that what you said about being gay too? You have to go back and think about what you just said.
Absolutely did. Yes.
That's what he said, is what that was.
Yeah. I do. It's totally random, and it's just in my head. I'm so excited for tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Just want to make sure, because I'm so excited for it.
It's Friday Junior today. Yes.
Oh yeah, I like that, Friday Junior. Okay, we're gonna use that in the future. Anyway,
yeah, Tuesdays for me lately have been Friday Junior.
So you've been looking forward to the weekend for a long time.
Yep.
No, there's a really difficult to get reservation for this French restaurant here in DC called Le Diplomat, and it's just a vibe. Every time you walk by it, it just looks like cozy, and it's French, of course, but it's just like this bastion of awesomeness for DC. And it's like the place a lot of senators go, and it's exceedingly hard to get a reservation. And I somehow scored one last night randomly as shit. And I'm just excited, and I just want to get that out.
So, just so everybody's aware, and this will air afterwards, so it's not like anybody's going to hunt you down or anything, but your husband's out of town.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're going by yourself?
No, a couple friends. We have a friend that's moving out of state, so it's kind of like a send off, if you will, but like a smaller group, because we did a big group send off for him, and this is more of an intimate one, just so we can.
Because I could literally see you in that one chair over by the kitchen door by yourself, just smiling away, eating your croissant, being the loneliest man on the planet.
So when I was in London last time for business, I went to this restaurant that a friend recommended. You would know them. Husky porn voice is all I should have to say, and that should tip you off to who it is.
Yes.
Okay. And I did that though, but where they sat me, I came in, and you have the option of like facing the window if you're the solitary diner, or sitting at the bar. And then obviously there's tables scattered throughout. They sat me at the single stool. For whatever reason, there was one single stool next to the couple, and I'm just between the wall, the window, and this couple, just one little stool staring out the window. And it's awkward because everyone that was walking by with like the menu must have been right next to my window, so they're just coming up and like looking almost at me, and then like you can see that they see me eventually. And God, that was a long meal, because also the food took eons to come out, but it was great.
See, that's you have to play that up though. The next time you go there, you have to ask for that seat, and you've got to wear like clown makeup.
Like sad clown makeup?
Yes. And every time somebody comes up, just make some sort of really obscene gesture towards them when they finally realize that you're there.
Like get a Beanie Baby.
Scare them.
Just get like a Beanie Baby and like hang it by a noose or something like that.
So now all of a sudden you're the Beanie Baby murderer?
Yeah, I'm the Beanie Baby bandit.
The Beanie Baby Bandit. I think we just found the name for this episode. Realize we don't generally do this while we're recording, but that's literally how most of our titles start out is we say, what's the title going to be? And then one of us says something, and then somebody else says something to go along with that something. And then eventually we just come up with the 3 words that become the title. It's not often that in real time, while we're on the episode, we come up with the name for the episode. Liquid Gorilla Glue was one of them.
Liquid Gorilla Fun.
Liquid Gorilla Fun, that's right.
Yeah.
But most of the time, you guys don't get to be part of listening to how we iterate on these names. This one just, you got it. Beanie Baby Bandit. And the next meeting we're in together, I'm bringing it up. In fact, I'm going to go over to my board right now and make sure I don't lose this one.
Just bring it up in a meeting.
Yep.
I mean, why not, right? It's
I've had people ask me from work for stuff that they should do on podcasts, for serious stuff that they're doing, learnings that we've had about microphones and about tools and that sort of stuff, based off of this idiotic podcast that we do.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, so the season 3, for anyone that's new to this episode, we've kicked off video for the first time this season. And the honestly kind of impressive for us amount of people that have reached out to me to tell me that they're watching is kind of flattering in a way, but it's cool. I don't know. I think it's pretty awesome. I think it's been fun to also go back and just watch myself and then hate myself a little bit more because of how weird my voice sounds back in the.
You just can't get there. You can't finish it, can you?
There.
See, this is why I love this show. Is I don't even have to insult Ryan for Ryan to feel worse. He
No,
can just do it to himself.
did it all by myself.
When you hear the extra little bit at the end of this episode after the first iteration of the song, after the moment is then, you're gonna understand how Ryan does this to himself.
Yeah, it just comes with not looking up. That's my biggest problem. It's like
But I would say that's it, but my text messages prove you have other issues. Because remember a few days ago, I told you I was going to put this on the board. I have to give a little bit of a backstory. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but as a family, we're trying to buy a house.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yes. And I
Yeah.
told Ryan some stuff that was going on with our journey. And he said, instead of welcome to home ownership, he said, welcome to homo ownership. Now, I don't know if it's a Freudian slip.
No, it's like an autocorrect thing. And it's just like.
So your autocorrect corrects home to homo?
No, like, I think it goes off of like learned behavior over time of how many times I've corrected it. So I must have said homo more times than I've said home, which is bad, probably.
Yes, that's probably bad. And
yeah,
it's funny that we should do this update in a couple minutes too, but you poked me right in the middle of this episode.
Yeah.
So now, do you remember what I said after that? Don't go look it up. You don't remember what I said.
I don't remember exactly. No.
I said, "Are you now my homo? Now that I have homo ownership."
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So apparently,
no. You said apparently I own a homo.
Yeah. It was the same sort of thing. It was along that lines. And the important part about that is that there's some sort of homo slavery out there, according to Ryan.
Yeah. Oh my God. Hold on. Yeah.
We might come up with a second title about homo slavery here.
Yeah. There is. It's like a sub culture that I only learned about from a friend of a friend. We were having drinks at some bar, and there is like the culture that wants to be put. This sounds weird saying it out loud. Put into slavery, but like really negative connotation slavery, like treated poorly, shackles, like the whole that's their thing. And I'm like, that is a new level of I don't even think that goes outside of the gay realm and into something else that I don't have a name for.
Yeah, that's into sadomasochism is what it is.
Yeah. But
there's a name for everything. It's probably like it's probably cotton phobia. Well, it wouldn't be a phobia, but
it's not a phobia. I have no idea, but I was just like, this is a new level of strange. Just because you both happen to be gay and one is the master, like that's some weird shit.
So there was an ad, I believe it was in New York City. Again, my wife told me about this, so I had to look at it. There are people that their bathtub is not deep enough for them to just totally submerge. So they put an ad on Craigslist for knee wetters. What they wanted was people to come in, ladle water onto their knees about 3 times a week while they were taking a bath.
I'm not gonna lie, like if I was in that predicament, that would be helpful.
But the thing is, they're paying people to do this. They're actually have labeled it as knee wetters.
But that's like the people that come over and cuddle people, and like the professional cuddlers. And
but it's just ladling their own human soup onto their knees.
do you think that there's a subculture of that where it's actually like bathing in a tub of like chicken noodle soup and they want you to ladle just the noodles on their knees?
No, no, but I'm pretty sure there is going to be after this episode airs.
Oh, you and your wife?
No, I'm not. Don't even start on that. We have so many
Noodle
bathtub issues.
knee ladler.
I just my problem with this is that it's not somewhere nearby so that I could take advantage of this. Because if you only have to go over a couple of times a week, okay, and they're obviously going to have to pay a decent amount of money for what really should be considered a fetish. Wouldn't you want to be the person that's getting paid just to go over, throw a couple of scoops of water under their knees, and leave?
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, okay, I have questions. A, rate of pay, like, uh, what's the market analysis for that?
Oh, we
B,
got to find out. So maybe that's a good question for this week. Send your send your answers to repressedhumorissues@gmail.com. How much would you pay to have somebody come and ladle water onto your knees as a knee wetter in your bathtub 3 times a
or
week?
if you've been a knee ladler, please
Oh,
write in.
yes. Yeah, please tell us the worst experience you've had and the best experience you've had in that profession, because I guarantee you they're the same thing.
Also, how long is the bath? Like, is it one of those where you have to drain the tub and then refill it and ladle more or ladle warm water while it's draining? And because then it gets really cold. We've all been there, right? Like you try to get lower and lower in the tub water and like maybe it's me.
You've thought about this way too much.
In the moment, I just
I
look.
realize these are probably people that have liberal arts degrees that are doing the ladling. Let's just face it. Uh,
mm,
but there's probably some educated people that would take advantage of this just for the extra cash.
You think they're on Fiverr? Like if I downloaded the app Fiverr, I could find need ladlers.
You should try.
I,
I'm not downloading that app, but you can.
do I have a bathtub? I have a bathtub. Okay.
You want to experience this now, don't you?
Well, I'm just, but like, is it sexual?
Here's think about this. Do the people, do they meet you at the front door in their robe and they go and they get into the water and they try to cover themselves up a little bit? Or is it just,
yeah,
or do you walk in? Do you have a key to the front door?
Yeah, no.
You walk up while they're in the bath and you just start ladling and they're just out there for all to behold.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. Oh my gosh. This would be a great horror movie.
Yes, the knee wetters. Stephen King has to write a book called The Knee Wetters.
Oh my god.
This would make a great Dexter episode.
Yeah, I guess it's more of an episode, not a movie.
There's the guy that always calls other men over to wet his knees, and as he's getting out of the bathtub, he murders them and dismembers them, and Dexter has to take him out. Oh my god, we just wrote a Dexter episode right now.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Oh my god.
Okay.
That it writes itself because like the cop interaction with that is like hilarious banter that's also like creepy and eerie all at the same time.
Yeah. Have you ever watched Dexter? They don't need that sort of stuff to get to creepy.
No, I know. I mean, wait, remind me. They refreshed Dexter, right?
Yes. I have not watched it yet. So
I have not seen any of those.
Yeah, I saw the entire first series. I've not watched any of the rest because the first series ended so badly.
You know, it did. It totally did. I absolutely agree. That was a terrible ending.
And it's been 17 years at least, so we should be allowed to ruin it at this point. We shouldn't have to say spoiler alert.
What's his name? Is it Michael Scott Hall?
Michael C. Hall, isn't it?
Michael. Oh, maybe it's Michael C. Hall. Yeah.
Yeah. But he was actually married to Deb in real life on that show.
Yeah.
And they divorced before the end of the show.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, and she
Oh,
was still on.
weird.
And remember, spoiler alert here, if you haven't watched the end of Dexter yet, I'm going to wreck it for you. But Deb dies and he throws her overboard.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I did not know that. Oh,
How
that
did you not
makes.
know? You had to watch that. Oh, you
Oh,
mean
no,
that
no,
they
no,
were
no, no.
married
The married part.
and the divorce while they were on the show together.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that's
God,
that's
that does
difficult.
make it a little bit better.
Yeah, it changes the show a little bit for you, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
Yeah.
My husband and I were not debating. We were trying to, like when you have those moments where you have like a tune or a part of a tune and you're trying to remember like what song or scene it came from. We had the dumbest one, I think, in a while. And it was the ooh, mo, mo, chicka, chicka, chicka. And what commercial that belonged to.
I don't know what commercial that belonged to. That was Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah, but it belonged to a commercial for the longest time in the late 80s. So,
I was not in the US in the late 80s, so I probably will not know this.
okay. Well, imagine searching for that noise. I don't even know how to spell day bow bow. But that's why I think I put DE bow bow.
Okay.
Find it. And
Why didn't you just look up Axel F commercial?
because I didn't know what? I don't know.
That song name is Axel F.
Well, I didn't know that.
But
And
you went searching for the commercial that was associated to it. Why? Oh, God. You should have just Shazammed it.
yeah, but it was me singing it, so I didn't know what to find. And
You
Shazam
can
doesn't
still
pick up
Shazam it.
what with my voice.
I'm sure you could do it. Go
You're
ahead and
making
sing
you're
it
making
and see what happens.
day
Real time
bow
test
bow
here of how good Shazam is.
day bow bow. Oh,
Oh, that was the worst version of Axel F ever.
it's not working. I'll tell you
That's
that.
because you did a crappy version. That's why.
But either way, the candy bar is Twix.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I was not aware.
But then it
So-
took me down a rabbit hole. Hold on. It took me down a rabbit hole for the Always Sunny in Philadelphia, my favorite episode of Always Sunny, where Charlie and Mac they take mailroom jobs, and Mac pretends to be the executive that's out of town in Orlando, and he's like distracting Charlie with the Day Bow Bow song while he slowly closes the door into the executive's office to act like the executive. Anyway,
That was a long way to get nowhere.
it was that's the show. It is
Yeah.
like the raunchy Seinfeld. It's amazing.
Yeah. True. So
Did you watch it ever?
I watched some of it. I missed the beginning of it. And so I was watching it on reruns, and you kind of miss some stuff when you watch it from the middle as opposed to the beginning.
Yeah, you do
Like
miss a
most
few
of the
things.
stuff that I saw was just them in the bar together.
Oh, it's so good. Danny
Yeah.
DeVito's just a gem, and he needs to be protected.
It's like he took the character that he had on Friends for that one episode and turned it into an entire character in that show.
But then made it crazy.
Yes. Speaking of crazy, we know, I'm going to go political here. Donald Trump fired the board from the Kennedy Center and then placed himself at the top of it and announced a bunch of people that are going to be playing there, which we know are going to be horrible. So he hasn't announced it yet. He's got a plan for it.
Right.
But I've got a question for you.
Okay.
I'm going to set up a scenario. He gets Lara Trump to sing. And if you've heard the auto-tune singing that she does, it's horrendous. Not only is she singing poorly, so poorly the auto-tune can't fix it, but she's butchering songs that she shouldn't be singing anyways.
Like
if you could put Elon Musk in a chair that he could not stand up from and he could not move, and had Lara Trump sing a song to him, what song would it be? Now, there's many ways you could take this, and I've been doing this on Blue Sky for a little bit. You can go for just the song title is insultive to them. You can go to it's just going to be horrendously painful. You could go to just embarrassing Lara Trump. There's lots of ways you could take it. So
Wait, I gotta think of the. I know the song. Hold on.
I'll give you a couple of examples that came up today while I was going through this. One of them, my favorite, because I still know how to play the song on the guitar, is Guns N' Roses' I Used to Love Her, But I Had to Kill Her. Yes. So we also thought of Loser by Beck.
Okay.
That's a really good one to be able to get there. But you could also get her singing basically anything by Evanescence. And it would just be utterly painful to have to sit there through just one of those songs listening to Lara Trump try to do that.
I mean, there's so many different ways that I want to take this because, like, part of me just wants to make Laura Trump sing like the song that she can't sing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I go, you would go for like a Whitney Houston or Celine Dion in your mind. No, 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 no. I want to go Macy Gray. I try, which is unique in itself. But hearing
Yes.
her try to do all the different inflections, uh, but I'm so catty.
Well,
Yeah,
we were thinking Highway to Hell.
okay. So we weren't far off. I was thinking Hell's Bells, but
Yeah, so it's just having to do that scratchy voice that's done. That's all that it takes. Trying to get her to just scream like AC/DC does would be interesting and painful, and it's a good name for a song too.
but also like getting her to sing like "Fly Me to the Moon" by like Frank Sinatra also has hilarious space undertones in it. But just hearing her butcher, I just want to hear her butcher it, and I did in this moment look to see if she's on Spotify as a musician, and
Oh
she
God, she
is.
is.
She
Yes.
is. And like her most recent single is called No Days Off.
Oh, I wish she'd take every day off.
I mean,
Are you trying to? Oh, you're gonna listen to it.
no, I stopped.
Okay.
It's so heavily auto-tuned already.
Yeah, it's just bad, but we
God,
played the
how did you
game
learn
for a
about
while.
that?
Uh, it, so the Kennedy board, we known the Kennedy Center board, we known he was gonna get rid of
No, oh,
everybody off of that for
not
weeks.
that. The Laura Trump singing.
Oh shit, that was out just before the election. She put out a small record, and the single went nuts on some right wing channel, but it was absolutely horrid. And then she sang another song that she didn't have the rights to, so she got sued over that, and
Good.
it was just bad.
No,
But I could just imagine how bad some of the possible acts that Trump would bring to be able to fill the Kennedy Center with
who's he going to be able to
MAGA.
get? Kid Rock?
Oh, he'll just sit up there and read out his own personal reading of Mein Kampf.
I mean, I will say, as somebody that's kind of a late bloomer to the Kennedy Center and going and things like that, I've seen a few things there now. And it's a remarkable venue. It's world class, truly. But to see them canceling things that have been kind of establishment things every year for decades, it's pretty upsetting. I mean, like we have World Pride here in DC, and
Yeah.
love it or hate it, I'm not a fan of having that many people come into DC. No pun intended. Um,
Pun intended.
uh, but them canceling like the gay men's choir, basically. It has a better name than I'm giving it credit, but canceling that was like a sign.
Yeah.
And then there's been a few more things like that they've just canceled outright. But then they've also had the other side where artists are refusing to perform there now.
Yep. Well, here was the original list that started this off. Kennedy Center 2025 schedule. Mein Kampf, read by Kanye West. All White Porgies and Bess, starring Roseanne Barr and Wayne Gretzky. A 2-hour My Pillow live infomercial. Bezos and Zuckerberg doing Oklahoma. Mel Gibson reads the unabridged works of Sylvester Stallone. And Hulk Hogan is Mark Twain.
Hulk Hogan
Is Mark Twain.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you saw like Trump also going against Hamilton, I think, this week, the play.
Well, but Hamilton's canceled their Kennedy Center engagement. So
just terrible, because like I would have loved to have seen that again.
Yeah, but that's going to become the epicenter for the worst people in the world.
Yeah,
really is what it's going to do.
And it's so unfortunate because it really is a world-class venue. I do have a funny little story. We went and saw the play Clue, which was fantastic.
No, I'm guessing this is based off of the board game Clue that had one of the best movies ever, which was the movie Clue.
Exactly right. Yes. So highly entertaining, highly funny. But we had time to kill as a group beforehand, and I'd never really been to the Kennedy Center except to run into a theater because we were running late. And so they took me to the rooftop, which actually has a beautiful view overlooking all of DC, and you can see into National Airport and things like that. I had the dumbest little moment where I walked out onto this, and there's like a plane coming in. They have to kind of come in at an angle and swoop down really close to the Kennedy Center. And I go, "Ooh, look, a plane!" like a child, right?
Yeah.
To this day,
Yolanda moment.
Totally. To this day, the group of at least 10 friends have never they've never let me live it down. They have sent me memes saying, like, a child pointing, "Look, a plane," that kind of thing.
That's not a child. That's tattoo.
Huh?
You never watched Fantasy Island?
No.
Oh, it's tattoo. Look, boss, it's the plane. The plane.
Oh,
that's a famous line from I believe that was late 70s. Was Fantasy Island.
My father's referenced that, but I've never seen it.
It's Ricardo Montalban, if I remember correctly, and I don't remember who played Tattoo, but he was a little person that like he'd sit on the guy's lap, and they ran Fantasy Island where they made people's fantasies come true, and there's always some sort of controversy and
was it the guy that
typical
played
1970s Three's Company type slapstick stuff. So
what was the guy's name that played Willow?
Played Willow.
Yeah, Willow.
Where
Warwick Davis?
Where I don't know who Willow is.
The movie Willow, like he's the wizard. I don't know
if I've ever watched Willow.
Oh, I thought that was it. It's kind of like either late 80s or early 90s fantasy.
Is it in that labyrinth, never-ending story sort of genre?
Yeah, and around that same time period as well.
Yeah, see, my brother and I, when we were young, a little bit of a stretch on this one, but my brother and I, when we were young, we can't count the number of concussions we gave each other from hockey stupidity and trying to wreck each other out on sleds in the winter. And, I gave myself a massive concussion falling off of an ice ramp and all sorts of stuff. So a lot of that type of stuff probably is not processing. It's just not there anymore. I've probably seen that movie and don't remember it.
Got it.
Yeah, I got back there.
Yeah, you made it. You made it back. Welcome. Well, I mean, I don't know how it holds up to this day, but I distinctly remember my father wanted the baby in the film. Their name is Elora Dannon, and him wanting to name my sister that, and my mother saying, "Absolutely not. We're not naming our child after a fucking movie character."
Is this why your parents got divorced and not you?
Wait, what?
You're not the reason they got divorced? They got divorced because your dad tried to name your daughter?
Sorry, I don't know. I mean, they got divorced when I was 6, before I had any siblings, so the first one could have been my fault. Second one, I don't know.
Whoa, hold on here. They got divorced before you had any siblings?
Yeah, and then they got remarried a year later, and then had 2 more kids,
I
and then got
never
divorced
heard
again.
about this story. We got to dig into this because now they have no more You can't get rid of. You could have been the reason for their first divorce and not the reason for the second.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah, I think they're a very, very tiny statistic in the
But
world.
but you could also be the reason they got divorced both times.
Ooh, I kind of want that.
Oh,
That'd be like a badge of honor.
yes. You got to ask your dad. Listen, Dad, I need you to be perfectly honest with me. How many times that you got divorced from mom was it my fault? And if he says anything besides zero, you've just got to go into a little dance. And
I
if he
mean,
says zero, you have to say you're crushing me, small. Sorry,
you're killing me,
you're
Smalls.
killing me, Smalls. Yeah.
Sandlot.
Yep. I know that movie.
That's a great film. That is a
Yes.
great film. You know, it for a while it made me want to try chewing tobacco until that scene. That scene was like the anti-chewing tobacco
Yeah.
advertisement for me that I was like, "Oh, I don't want to do that."
There was a movie with, of all people, Scott Baio in the mid 80s, probably early 80s, where he gains these telekinetic powers. But at one point, they have this really fat, awkward guy that's on the baseball team with me. He's just like, he's 6 foot something, absolutely huge. And all I could think of when you're saying that is somebody telling that kid, "You've got your hand in your butt again, don't you?" And he goes, "Yep." And they make him stick his fingers in his nose. And that's all that I remember of that stupid fucking movie.
I made it. That was
Yeah.
so close.
Yep. So it could have been worse. I could have brought up boner and hair while you were doing that.
Boner and hair?
You don't remember? So everybody, we have boards for things that we accidentally talk about. And one of them on my board is boners and hair. Because we just had this conversation yesterday.
Oh,
We
I
were
don't
talking
know.
about the little tool that you got that you were
Oh,
using on your beard and putting the serum in. And it led to a conversation of what do we spend money on
oh my
for
God. We do
pharmaceuticals that we don't really need to, but that
boners
is
and hair.
taking research away from, childhood cancer, leukemia, all those sorts of things. And it's all about boners and hair. That's all it's about. We can fix a man's boner in a single pill.
You know,
Okay, we could start regrowing hair on a man's body, anywhere on a man's body, fairly quickly. And when we can't regrow it, we can just move it from somewhere else.
that's the
Because if you,
truth. Bosley.
yeah, and like they literally cut a strip out of the back of your skull, staple that back together so it'll heal, pick all of the hair, including the follicle, out of that strip, and then reimplant them in the front of your head.
Yeah.
That's medical science doing incredible things to be able to make civilization better.
But how many pills or different creams or any kind of treatments, if you will, that are not surgical, do you think that exist just for erections or male enhancement?
Okay, so we know there's Levitra, Cialis, and
Viagra.
the Viagra, which all have their names, Tadalafil, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So there's 3, and everything that's come up since then has just been a generic or a compound of one of those 3.
Yeah, but not even that. I'm talking the mail order ones that are over the counter technically.
Yeah, I'm just getting into the legitimate ones that the pharmaceutical industry is basically pushing on everybody so that they can continue to make money. Because realistically, as you get older, your blood pressure will increase a little bit as a male. And then they put you on pills to reduce your blood pressure. And then it's harder to maintain an erection. So they put you on pills so that you can get an erection. It's self-supporting revenue for them to be able to create a
it's
problem
just a
that they
cyclical
can
cycle.
solve.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they put you on the high blood pressure medication. You can't get it up. So then they give you the pills to get it up. but you have to keep taking the pills. So now they've built that cycle. It's the same with testosterone replacement. The reason that men lose their hair up on top is something called DHT, dextrohydroxytestosterone, or
Yeah.
some name like that.
Yep.
Okay. But then you do testosterone replacement, and some of that gets converted to DHT, which makes you lose your hair, which then they go get you on Propecia or Minoxidil to be able to grow hair again.
Or you go to Bosley.
Or you go to Bosley. And the Bosley thing worries me because they're taking hair that is DHT resistant off the back of your skull. That's really what they're
But
doing.
are they actually taking the strip, or do they just take the follicles out?
No, they pull a strip of skin off. And the only reason I know that, this is going way back, but that John and his wife that had 8 kids, and there was like sextuplets.
Octomom, yeah.
Yeah, whatever it was. He had it done because he was losing his hair up front, and they actually showed from they're watching his face as they were cutting the strip out the back of his head. And then he put his hat on afterwards, even though he was bandaged across the back of his head. So what they do is one day you go in, they pull the strip of scalp off the back of your head, and then like 2 days later you go back in and they start poking in these hairs.
Yeah, I've seen that part.
The back of your head is DHT resistant. That's why men go bald on the top and not as quickly on the back. But so you're taking DHT resistant hair, you're putting it up front, and then all the hair that's behind that is not as DHT resistant. So do people end up with just like a strip of hair right up on this part of their head?
A little smiley face.
Bald spot. Yeah.
I hope not.
I wonder what ends up happening.
I hope not.
Maybe that's self-reinforcing is men end up so self-conscious about that they keep going back and getting more hair planted as it moves backwards.
I mean, the big trend right now is to go to like Turkey and have it done.
Why do you go to Turkey?
It's so much cheaper than the US.
Oh, okay. Well, I saw there was a woman that went and got a colonoscopy down in Mexico. She paid cash for it because it was 430 pesos.
That's cheap.
For a colonoscopy that I'm pretty sure without insurance is like $1,200-$1,300 in the US.
Easily.
Now it's probably done by a guy that colonoscopy machine was used on a donkey 12 minutes earlier, but you get what you pay for.
Sailor fee.
Yeah. So
I mean, but it does take us to a different line of thinking, like at least for me.
Floating all over the place today.
Totally, this is all over the place today, but I'm fine with it. But like, what other things do we just waste a fuck ton of research dollars on that are kind of genuinely hilarious? Like that we've really this isn't hilarious, but it's an example. How much time, energy, and resources have been spent telling us that eggs are good and bad for our health throughout the years?
Yeah, they do the same with coffee as well.
Yeah, coffee always
ends up with that. But
yeah, exactly.
The weirder ones for me is when they start growing appendages on mice. Who decided that a mouse was a good vehicle for growing a new human ear?
Yeah, they did that on its back. Is that right? If I remember the video, yeah.
Yeah.
And like, what makes it functional? Does it have all the right ear bones to make the right reverberations?
No, that's all inner ear. They're just making it cosmetically so you look like you have an ear, but you're still going to have an ear canal there. It's all cosmetic. But somebody actually went and did enough research to be able to say, yeah, I could grow a human ear on the back of a mouse. And you want to know what's going to happen next? Somebody is going to grow a penis on the back of a mouse.
Man, my brain went to vagina, but you're right. Penis is first.
Yeah, the problem is that if you make a vagina on the back of it, there's going to be people out there that are going to want to fuck it.
No, you can't say that. Not with a poor mouse.
What? You're killing them in your house. I'm just talking about fucking them. Well, not me personally fucking them. I wouldn't do that, but
I think it's all worse on your side. If I had the choice as a mouse, I'd choose death.
But there was a thing probably about 15 years ago where the U.S. government spent about $400,000 just so that a researcher could research the declining quality of bananas in America.
I actually read that article.
Yeah.
It
And
was
what did you find out about the declining quality of bananas in America?
there's not as much nutritional value in them as there used to be, and they're becoming harder and harder to grow.
Well, so if you aren't aware, in the next 20 years, we're going to lose the yellow banana altogether. The Cavendish banana, there is a fungus that's infecting the trees that is almost fully worldwide at this point that kills off the trees. The next bananas that we're going to be eating are going to be red. And yes, I actually had up on my board useless knowledge because one of the people that we work with continues, when we're talking to customers, to caution them that I will come up with something that is wildly useless, but somehow still interesting in every single conversation that we have.
Came up with a new tagline for our show.
Which is?
Well, not no, show name. Sorry, show name. Vulva, Varmint, Vengeance.
Oh, God. We may get banned for that one. Can you imagine the picture that is going to show up when you go to do the AI of what that looks like?
So hard.
That's just, I don't ever want to hear those three words put next to each other again.
I wrote it down.
It's so great, but it's so horrible, which means we have to do it.
Obviously.
Varmint, Vulva, Vengeance. God damn it. I'm not going to be able to show my face in any respectable joint ever again. Now, not that I could before this.
I was like, have you seen the other titles to our shows?
What we had, what was it? Cocaine hippo castration.
Oh yeah. That was a good one. That was a really good one.
Yeah,
No, we've had some good names. I'll give us credit.
yeah,
I think.
yeah, and like. Well, I don't intend for us to come up with them on the show. We never do that. But
No.
somehow, Ryan, in that little broken part of the back of his head, has twice today decided that he was going to throw something out here that was just going to be perfect for us to use his name. Now what we have to do is we have to find a way to use both those names in two different episodes.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I don't think Varmint, Vulva, Vengeance is going to be something we're going to be able to bring up organically again.
No.
So I think it's going to be Beanie Baby Bandit that's going to reappear.
Yeah.
Because I really don't want to have to talk about how people might fuck a mouse ever again on this show.
Amen.
And I think with that, Ryan, we should say goodbye to people before this gets worse, because we are heading towards something worse.
Oh, it's just going downhill. I kind of love it. But anyway, I do want to thank everyone for joining us for another episode of Repressed Humor Issues. Remember to email us at repressedhumorissues@gmail.com. Any commentary. If you've been a knee ladler, we want to hear
a knee wetter.
A knee wetter. It all works. I mean, who knows?
If there is a union for this, we want to talk to the union president. We will bring them on the show to represent knee wetters everywhere.
But when you say knee wetter, it just sounds like somebody's pissing on your kneecaps.
No, but they're ladling water on the knees. That's the job.
I understand. But it just sounds...
So what you want to do is you want to get the union guy on here so we can rename his entire profession for him, because we're so much better than him that we can tell him what the name of his profession should be.
Okay, well, excuse me for interrupting the pissing patella patrons. Jesus.
You've been waiting to use that, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
It came to me a while ago, and I was like,
I told you this was going to somewhere we didn't want it to go.
I don't know. Is it?
Pissing patella patrons. That's what you just said. Those are the three words you just put in order after you came up with Varmint, Vulva, Vengeance. You're getting banned from AI. I'm just warning
It's
you.
gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. But Dan, can you please take us to our moment of Zen?
Matt LeBlanc looks so old. What happened? Let you go yourself.
Dave Chappelle's head don't fit his body no more. He forgot to exercise that milk nut on his shoulders. That bitch tiny.
I find Bill Murray not funny. I was glad he got shot in Zombieland. Well, that's pretty good.
I want to pee in Sarah Silverman's face. No reason behind it. No reason needed.
Dear God, give us back Tupac and we'll give you Justin Bieber.
Zoe Deschanel is overrated. I think I'm underrated.
Why does Ryan Gosling always look like he's trying to squeeze a fart out without making any noise? Is that a gentleman?
Anthony Mackie is probably just angry that he looks like a aardvark.
Ethan Hawke seems like a guy who wasn't supposed to be a movie star, but he slipped through the cracks and everyone was just like, okay.
Off, Chris Pratt. Your face is so stupid. I hate you, John Krasinski.
Can people stop saying Kate Blanchett is beautiful? Kate Blanchett is gross, dude. That's the worst you can do, okay?
Gary Oldman sucks and his accents are annoying.
Maisie Williams looks like a very young grandma.
Melissa McCarthy is the Medea of white people.
Guys, John Stamos has a gross belly button. Stop, I don't.
I hope you all have a great weekend, except you, Lisa Kudrow. You.
Your hair.
I just got don't. Pieces of dirt in my butt.
Anything could be a song for you, right?
Dirt butt, dirt butt.
You need to charge somebody $1 for that song.
For a dirt butt? You want
for a dirt butt song?
You want me to charge you for my dirt butt song?
Yep. Mostly because I hit the record button before you started that. You never fucking learn.
I don't even look. I just need to look up.